What's up, everybody? This is Tim from Arm Wrestling Secrets, and in this video, we're going to be talking about 3 low hand top roll techniques that you can use right now. Go! 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 Let's go, Tim! Go! No way! Come on, Tim! All right, everybody, welcome to the show, and let's get right into it. Okay, so today we're talking about 3 different low hand top roll attacks that you can use right now. Okay, so there's been a lot of confusion, I think, when someone says low hand top roll. I think everyone just assumes, oh, you just drop your wrist and arm wrestle. Okay, not true at all, okay? The low hand top roll is a complicated movement and there's lots of different kinds, just like a lot of the other movements, okay? So we're gonna look at 3, and the 3 I like best today, and I'll show you the differences. Okay, so obviously with our low hand top roll, all that means primarily is the wrist is not locked high, okay? Like we've talked about a high posting top roll several times, okay? Where we have the wrist high, and that's the most important part there. So we're gaining leverage with a high posting attack, okay? And we're driving right onto this elbow. So on go, that's the primary go. That's the primary move, okay? Dropping up, dropping onto the elbow, creating height in the arm with a high wrist. Okay, now what about a low hand top roll? Okay, so let's look at the low hand positions, okay, and I'll take you through these 3 techniques that I had in mind. Okay, so we just talked about a high posting top roll, okay? Now, with a low hand position, okay, so we're dropping the hand a little bit here, okay? A low hand position, we can do the exact same thing. So the first technique I wanted to cover is a low hand posting top roll, and it'll make perfect sense here, okay? We talked about a high posting top roll, wrist high, low posting top roll. That's the only difference. The wrist is low, okay? If you ever watch Matt Mask arm wrestle, something he does a lot is a low hand posting style top roll, okay? And I want this to really help some of you guys so you can figure out some attacks you could use right on the go. And this will help you decide what to do right on go with your low hand position. Okay, so with a low hand posting top roll, similar to Matt Mask, we have a low hand position on the start, okay? But what we want to do, just like the high posting top roll, is we want to post off of the elbow to direct pressure into the hand, okay? So when someone's got their grip on you here, okay, we're going to put pressure into the small fingers. The low hand top roll primarily is an attack against the small fingers of the opponent, regardless of what they're doing, okay? So your low hand posting style top roll, okay, you obviously start low. That's it. On go, that's your start. That's your post. Okay, so the first low hand technique I'm covering, okay, you're setting up just like a high posting top roll. See the difference, okay? High posting top rolls here. Low posting top rolls right there. Okay, you're driving pressure up into the small fingers of the opponent. So they're trying to hold you, okay? Okay, as you go up and put pressure, assuming you have the strength for it, you're putting pressure into their little fingers as you come up, and you're posting off that low hand position. In terms of finishing, you can go side pressure or back pressure. Okay, I tend to want to go, I just pull back and across. I pull across the table and then out towards me. Okay, you can also, Matt Mask tends to hit to the side. He's gonna come up through the fingers. And the second he gets some give on those fingers, he starts to turn the hand over. He's going to drive pressure right down to the side. Okay, you can drive pressure up, sideways, or up and backwards. Okay, that's the first one I want you to try, and you're going to figure out something on your own when you try these techniques, these low hand techniques. You'll have one that probably sticks out to you as your strongest position, okay? And that's probably maybe where you want to start, but it's hard to figure out exactly where you want to be until you try some of these moves, okay? Okay, so that's the posting style low hand top roll, okay, is number 1. Number 2 is going to be more like a Pterasitis, Mendagas Pterasitis top roll. You've seen him, okay? Now, he does something totally different, okay? And I'm going to take you through it. Okay, so his low hand top roll, So he doesn't dump the wrist all the way down. A lot of times when people talk about low hand top roll, they just say, okay, so that's a low hand position, that's a high hand position. Okay, what about everything in between? There is a spectrum here. High hand, complete low hand, and everything in between. Terrasitis is going to use what I call a rising spectrum, okay? And he's going to pick the position that feels best for him for his attack, okay? And I'm going to take you through that. Okay, so the first one we covered was a posting style attack where we're putting pressure up into the small fingers of the opponent by posting off of the elbow. Regardless of where you're starting, okay, you're posting off, and if you feel stronger with a low hand position instead of a high hand position, that might be a good attack for you. Okay, now the second one I'm covering, like I said, is the Terrasitis style, okay? Pulling top roll, okay? Same thing, but a low hand position, okay? What you're trying to do here, instead of posting off of the elbow, is you're going to pull. Okay, but don't get misled into thinking that it doesn't take a lot of rising strength. Okay, remember that rising strength is just your ability to do this. It's elbow flexion. That's rising. Okay, now obviously a part of that is your wrist, but you can rise with or without your wrist. Okay, you're rising here without the wrist, or you're rising with the wrist. It just depends on what technique works best for you, okay? So when you start going for a pulling style low hand top roll, don't think that you don't need a lot of strength through here. You still need just as much rising strength. If you were gonna do your posting style, obviously you need a lot of rising strength, or else your arm is just gonna go down like this, okay? The same thing goes for the pulling top roll. And I'll take you through all the details, but think about this first, is that really importantly, you need to keep a lot of strength. You always do lots of rising exercises. Even if you're having your wrist down in a match, still do lots of rising exercises. I do rising exercises with my knuckles up, and I do rising exercises with my knuckles down in order to have power for each of those different type of positions, okay? So if you're looking at this pulling style low hand top roll, the second technique I want to cover, okay? And I talked about that spectrum here, okay? And if you watch Terrasitis arm wrestle, you'll realize his arm, he's not just putting his hand down, okay? It's somewhere in between here. It might be all the way down. It might be all the way up, okay? It might be somewhere in between. What he's trying to do is put pressure with this part of his hand into the little fingers of the opponent, okay? When he feels the pressure he wants, he doesn't need to go any lower. There's no benefit to going all the way down in this pulling style position unless you feel like that's the maximum position you need to get the most pressure on the little fingers of the opponent. And that'll be up to you to figure out, okay? But that technique is gonna work like this, okay? So low hand position, similar to the first position, similar to the posting style, but we're pulling, okay? But what we don't wanna do is lose this. We can't lose our rising position. We need to maintain rising, but we're adding an element to this. And this is what Terrasitis tends to do, is he's gonna set up with a lower position of the hand, okay, but he's also going to utilize his rising strength, okay, because he's not dropping this, but what he's doing is, okay, he's generating a lot of back pressure, not with a post, but with a pull.
Yeah, I can try a little bit.
If you want to try.
But I would mostly try this thing.
Okay. Just to feel like what it feels like.
And I will not necessarily go too fast. I'm just
Yeah. Okay. So your style.
But you felt what I'm doing, right?
Yeah. It's dragging a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care about like this part of the end? Like, do you drag like this, or do you drag more like?
Mostly like this, because if I am posting too much, then there is a chance that someone fast will go in, and then if I have it, if my hand is dropped, then they normally end up like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about when you, like on the ready go, do you apply any pressure up here?
I am trying to apply as much as I can, actually.
But you let it go if you feel it's being compromised, or?
It is, well, it is never really compromised.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like the more my opponent is holding on to me, it's just better, for me.
To just go back and rotate
Yeah.
this. Okay.
Because whenever I'm even somehow trying to force my opponent into holding on to me, because
Okay.
some people, they try to avoid it, they try to be very loose.
Yeah.
So I have some.
You apply some pressure
I'm trying
here,
to apply some pressure, trying to make them
like this a bit.
forget what they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the question was like your setup, like the thing that you just said. It's part of the answer, I guess. But so you're like clamping down, not so strongly.
Actually, maybe sometimes even not at all.
Maybe not at all. Okay. And giving pressure on the fingers,
Yeah.
just to make the people like say,
Yeah,
okay.
just to make them.
I
Because as
need
long
to-
as they are pressing on my hand a little bit, that's normally very good. That's already enough for me to.
But he's maintaining his rising position. So as he pulls, he's not losing his hand or his arm. He's trying to start as close as he can. He's keeping this angle really tight, and he's going to try to maintain that through his pull. Okay, he's going to pull hard through the fingers, okay? Dropping the wrist, and you'll see him end up in this low hand position where he also finishes either side or some combination of backwards pressure. But that's your pulling low hand top roll, okay? High position here, tight riser, dropping the angle of the wrist, okay? And then on go, okay, he's pulling right off the point of the elbow, pull, okay? And he's gonna hit directly back, he's gonna hit out to the side, whatever position suits him the best, okay? But that's something you can utilize too, is you can try to put those two things together, is you kind of have a little bit of posting strength, meaning you're keeping this high, but then adding a drag pressure to it too. So on go, you're pulling people back into that low hand style position, okay? And then finishing from there. And the third technique I wanted to cover was a defensive style low hand top roll, okay? And I want you to look at Voice of Arm Wrestling's channel on Giannis and Ray. For Voice of Arm Wrestling, they did a great video on defensive top roll that you got to see, okay? He's going to cover everything I'm talking about now, but a lot more, okay? What he's talking about there is on the go, okay, he is going to sacrifice the side pressure, okay, for back pressure, okay? So he's just focused on pulling backwards on the defensive top roll, okay? Once again, you're attacking with this part of the hand, not so much high, okay? If, like I said, if you have a weakness in this high position, the radial side of your wrist, if you're weak there, or you're not as strong as your opponent, which is weak enough, okay, then sometimes a low hand position might be a better attack style for you. You're using a totally different part of your hand, and you're attacking a completely different part of the person's hand, your opponent's hand. You're attacking, once again, like all the low hand top rolls, you're attacking into the little fingers of the opponent. Okay, so a defensive style top roll, someone's driving to the side, okay? You can kind of hit outside and row backwards, okay? And as your wrist drops down a little bit, you're putting more and more pressure into the small fingers of the opponent, okay? So with that type of hit, okay, we're going to be going, it's same thing. We still want back pressure. We still want a tremendous amount of back pressure, okay? But we can tend to hit outside a little bit, okay? Hitting outside, and it's a rowing motion, okay? Rowing outside. You can almost think of it like a little circle, like you do like a little semicircle going out. Okay, on the hit, boom. Hitting, okay, and dragging back. So it's like, okay? And that's the defensive low hand style top roll. So all those three, the posting low hand top roll, the pulling style low hand top roll, okay, and the defensive low hand top roll, okay, are three of the best low hand top roll techniques you can use, and you can use them all right away. Next time you're at your training session, try one of those variations or all those variations to see which one works best for you, and then practice it as you get better. I'll see you guys in the next one. You want to light speed your arm wrestling knowledge, supercharge your training, and start winning more matches? Click on the link in the description, go to my arm wrestling coaching page, and book a session with me.